Day 9, channeling from Source. 9, the end of a cycle, promising the beginning of a new one. As waking up in the morning, beginning a new cycle where everything is possible. Remember that land of plenty we mentioned. The breath, the air, the water, the most important elements for you to be alive are free. And it's so easy in this world to focus on what you do not have and forget about what you have. So who would you be today if again you just focused on all that you have? Being able to walk, being able to talk, being able to hear, being able to see, being able to eat food and digest it and eliminate it, being able to sleep. All of these very mundane functions that not everybody has, and it's so easy to forget. Yesterday, we finished our conversation with a first answer to a very, very deep question, which, as we said, doesn't have only one answer. And today, to further a little bit our answer, we would like to bring your attention to one tool that Nadej loves and many, many other humans on this planet, which will again bring more clarity as to the fact that your multidimensionality is experienced daily without you knowing, really. The experience of Kuan Yin showing Nadej to find love everywhere was really a message of reminding her that every reaction you have is the emotion that you use as a fuel to create, as we have spent the last 8 days explaining. So reactions are there as a signpost and a tool that is an incredible tool which allows you to understand from multiple levels of perception is the Map of Consciousness by David Hawkins. That will answer basically any question, but it doesn't provide one answer. So what does it say? It explains that there are so many emotions experienced in this dense polarity because you cannot have light without darkness. The glass is neither half empty or half full. It is both in reality. But as we explain, the focus can go to one more than the other. And these emotions have been calibrated by that beautiful soul into a map where he gave a number for each. And the number is not so important, but there's a definite hierarchy in the emotions where you start with shame, which is at the very bottom, very, very dense energy, where you are very limited. If you look at these emotions in terms of limitation, on the one hand of the spectrum, and expansion and awareness on the other one, or consciousness and unconsciousness at the other end of the spectrum, if you look at these emotions as just waves of potentiality, they vary in their density. And as you go up through grief, anger, pride, you get to courage, and you move into neutrality. And then you open up to reason and love and compassion. And all the way to peace, joy, and enlightenment, which was the level of some of the avatars that came onto earth, who really already started from a level of wisdom that is beyond average, and they were able to perform miracles. We'll come back to that. As you understand this map and these levels of consciousness, you can then take a story. And one example which is often used is, imagine looking at a homeless person. You could equally use all the challenges that are being portrayed in your mass media. But for now, imagine that there is a homeless person not far from your house sitting. How will you react to it? Or what are the thoughts that are going to come up in your experience, in your mind, as you walk by that person? The state of your being there will certainly be translated into how you feel. What do we mean by that? Some people will feel it's shameful to be there in that state, or it's a shame that society doesn't do anything. We'll feel a definite, deep sense of shame. And that shame has nothing to do with the homeless person who's just there as a mirror. That shame is the projection of what goes on inside. Somebody might pass by and feel angry. How come that person is next to my house? How come this still exists in the 21st century? How come we live in such a corrupt society? Again, the level of emotion that is felt inside has nothing to do with that person. That person is a mirror. That person is in a state of anger. Then another one might be, oh, I feel something for that beautiful soul who's in a state of not being able to cope with society. I wonder what happened to them. That will be the filter of neutrality, curiosity. Some people will go, oh, I'm a member of this charity. I know I can help. I really want to know more about that person. I want to know about their story. And I've got some money I can give them, or I've got a sandwich or something I can give. That will be the filter of love or reason. In his book, Power versus Force, David Hawkins says that at the level of enlightenment, the level of a Jesus or a Buddha, you will see that being as a soul free from the chain of society, experiencing themselves as that. There is no judgment. There is absolute love, compassion, and joy even. This already takes mastery to understand, because this can only happen when you have reached a certain level where you can detach yourself from your emotions and sit in your awareness and start witnessing, oh, this happened to me, or that situation made me feel this way. Interesting. I felt anger. I felt shame. I felt criticized, judged. Therefore, I was in that state of being at the time, or this is a reflection of what I'm feeling. This goes back to what we said in the first channeling. The world is not real. Reality is highly subjective. If it weren't, everybody would have the same association to everything, yet you don't. It is a highly personalized version of reality. But most people, especially when they're steeped in the, in between brackets, emotional states of negative, are in a restricted, limited version of themselves, and they cannot access that witness. They cannot access the detached view of metacognition or self-inquiry. Therefore, with the principle we've just developed, when you apply that to the questions asked yesterday, hopefully you understand that we said there is not one answer. There are many answers according to where you are at in your own development, in your own state of being of the moment, with the references to your life, the culture you live in, the place in the world, how much you have in your life or not, you will give a different answer. And there is no wrong, no right. Every reality is valid. Every reality is valid. And as you are one, as you grow emotionally, spiritually, and you expand your awareness into that spaciousness of being, and you allow that becoming the process of expansion, you realize that acceptance is key. Doesn't mean you have to agree, far from it. As mentioned yesterday, war, abuse, torture, all the manipulation, power over others are not acts that you have to agree with, of course, but seen from a higher level of consciousness, you will be much more open to not judge. You might disagree and absolutely do not condone, yet not judging, not trying to distort any of it. Some of you will feel the need to act on it, and that is great. And that is the gift of the unique roles and missions that you all have to play. And it's really a symphony of absolute beauty in this world, for there are so many of you doing incredible work, having an incredible level of integrity, compassion, love, a desire for devotion, a desire to be of service, a desire to just live from the heart. But that is not in your media as the mainstream. That is all over your social networks. And that's where the beauty is. All these people, by the millions, following their purpose, in touch with their soul, in touch with their inner guidance, who have had the courage to stop and breathe and just wonder what this is all about. And as you expand into yourself, you start feeling everything. As we mentioned before, you feel what Nadej calls the good, the bad, and the ugly, and everything is okay. Everything is that is created within, even the parts that you would call ugly, are there for a reason. They were created as protection. They were created out of a need for survival. Because again, within you are all of these levels. The level of survival, the level of the emotion, and the level of the reason, and the higher elevated emotions. And this is found in your brain. This is found in your nervous system, all the various levels. So in you are the designs of a very complex being, which again has that spectrum of the ultimate creation, ultimate potentiality at the one end, the universal capacity to literally create worlds. And at the other end, it is the what you would call the animalistic, the survival, me over you, the individual self having to find their way in this incredible, complex maze of an experience. You are the seed of miracles. You are in a game where there are so many cards, and you have to find your way in the incredible, complex, various, exciting, blissful, and chaotic, and sometimes tragic dimension. But remember that every experience is valid, and we will leave you on this today. We love you beyond words, beyond worlds. Namaste.